start off, we're going into mental health, and not only just man's mental health, but mental health overall, so everybody can try to seek help, right?
Yeah.
So that way everybody isn't excluded, and then that way women just aren't like.
Even though
It's a one way street.
even though you know what side we gon'
Yeah,
we
you
only
feel me?
can
Because
speak
you know
the truth
niggas
from,
gonna be niggas.
it's not gonna be one sided, but we only can speak facts from one side. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So starting off, I would say during my research before we even did all this, I would say that there is a large percentage gap between men depression and women depression. And women depression start off between the ages of like 13 to 16. Right? So it starts off right when they become teenagers, when they kind of insecure about their body, not knowing who might like them
They
and
go through a
whatnot.
lot of changes.
Right?
They go through way
So,
more changes than we have.
right? So, but the percentage gap isn't really that much. They're only at like 10.43%. We're at like 6 or 7.48%. So it's not that much of a large gap, but they are more depressed than we are. So,
Okay, you might be getting it right away.
so I can give them I can give them their leeway, but at the same time, everybody go through their own shit. But you are going through shit based off of your body. We're more so going through things based off of how society has pressures and peer pressures of what we have to go through with their day to day as a man. And whether or not you're in a relationship or not, when you're younger, you still have to be prepared to enter the world more so than a woman might be.
What age did they say it start for men?
For men, they never actually gave an age. That's the problem.
They say what, 13 or 16?
Yeah, so with us, they say more so it's after we hit, like when we hit our. So they didn't give a specific age, but they gave like a general aspect, like when we hit our midlife crisis. So if we hit like a midlife crisis, then that's when we start getting depressed, because we kind of might not feel like we attained as many goals as that we wanted to or whatever. Because that's the thing that a lot of women look for in a man is what is he able to contribute to me and society. Like if he comes home, I need to be able to respect him. I need to be able to look at him and be like, no, he walks out this house every day being productive. And then also when we go on to society, what has society gonna look at us like if we was to die tomorrow,
right,
how would somebody remember us? Would they be like, oh shit, that was just my nigga and he was cool ass nigga? That's it.
What's your legacy?
You feel me? Like what do you leave behind? So with you own food, you own a food business, you own a football league, and now we're doing this podcast, so just a lot of things that's under your name. So now you're leaving something behind yourself.
Exactly.
With me, you feel me, clothing lines, investments, and then also now we're doing this, music labels and whatnot. So you feel me, it depends on what we build. But that's me and you. A lot of people don't have a lot of things that me and you are doing, right? So
personally, honestly, I think so that's a good analogy with women. Women go through. First of all, this podcast is not about bashing women. Before we get
we love it.
forward, we love
girls.
women, but
we love the girls.
a lot of things that women go through emotionally and a lot of stuff is.
I feel like it's more open, and
Our
shit is more bottled in.
Exceptional to be an understanding in certain circumstances.
But would you say that would go to accountability?
Far as them?
Do you feel like men have to be more accountable socially than females do?
Of course we do, because the problem is we're not that tapped in with our emotions. Mm-hmm. Women is way more tapped in with our emotions. That's the problem in a lot of situations. They feel like we don't give enough emotion, we don't give enough affection, but we men. Mm-hmm. Your daddy not gonna grow up kissing you and loving on you. He gonna love you to death, but he gonna love you hard.
But he might not be able to show it.
He gonna be able to show you in the hard way. And then when you get older, you ain't gonna see it growing up. See, that's another thing. When we talk about depression, about men, I don't think men go through shit and won't realize it until they look back.
Until they get out of it.
You may be 10 years away or 5 years away or hell 2 to 1 years away or a couple months, whatever. When you're going through it, you ain't gonna realize the severity of it until you sit back and you think about it and you have discussions with other people when they sharing situations and it's like, damn, man, I just went through some shit. Like, so that's one thing, man. I think that on that aspect, I can give that to guys. We that's natural though. It's not like really our fault. It's just how you
I'm
expect
gonna say
it.
it's
Because if
literally,
you're
it's
too
literally made
emotional,
up by
you already know if you're too emotional and
yeah.
you
Cause
too
I seen
just-
most of the
it's too
studies I
much
seen were always based off of like a woman author, and it was always what a female expects of a man. And then when they move over,
conversation.
I'm saying yeah. Then when they move over to what a man expects to a woman, yeah. If you actually do research, everything is simple. But at the same time, it might be not as simple to you because you might not be able to understand your man. But at the same time,
You know what's crazy though?
you might not be able to understand your man
So-
because a lot of niggas do take advantage of females for no reason. Right, but also females take advantage of men for no reason. Well,
What
I'm not gonna
girl-
say no reason. They doing it for a reason because they want to get a gain.
Definitely.
But their gain is not in coming from a loving condition.
You know what it all boils down to though? Like we got by the book, we got the basics that we gonna see, but it all boils down to how we was raised. What you
That
start
is
to
true.
realize is when you date people and even when you have friends or you talk to other people, you see people beliefs is different. Here's the thing, and this was crazy. So growing up, your mom and your daddy could tell you, you know what, son, the sky is green.
Yup.
And everything your mama and daddy said when you was young was true. So 1,000 people gonna argue up and down, you sound stupid.
But all
My
I know is
mama
the
and my
sky's green.
daddy said the sky green.
Right.
But then you get older and you realize the truths of life. The reality is, no, your mama and daddy was wrong, the sky is blue. Now, the trickle down effect is, damn, how many things that they tell me was not right? And then you start to find it out. Because you're going to start losing arguments. And you're going to start being in the back of conversations because your understanding is different. So, at the end of the day, it all boils down to how you was raised. You might...
Because a lot of
So
people
you
feel
got
like
people
you're not
who are
educated.
gender role specific. Where my girl gotta clean, wash dishes, fold clothes, take care of the household. I'ma pay all the bills. I'm doing all, and that's the main conversation of today.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for our generation, that's a main issue.
That's the main
Because
issue.
a lot of women, they don't want to be traditional, but they want a traditional man. So how can you want a traditional man if you don't want to be a traditional woman? And so a lot of them, they be like, well, my dad paid the bills for my mom. But also at the same time, think about, was your dad really happy? Did he do what he had to do just because he was a man? Or was he actually happy just doing what he was doing?
Right.
So a lot of them don't even care whether or not their father was happy.
See, that's the thing about it. See, if you want to get to the true side of that, so okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off what I said first. So yeah, but on the flip side, that traditional woman got to come from a traditional family. That's the part where.
But do you think a traditional woman has to come from a mother and father, or can she come from a single parent household, whether it's a mother or a
I'll
father?
be real with you, bro.
Can it be a mother or a father, or it has to be
Traditional
both?
women come from being raised by their grandma.
That is true, because most of the grandmas are pretty much raised. They were raised in a traditional household where it's like, no, my man gonna go to work, he gonna come home.
Granny gonna do it all.
Yeah.
But I give hats off because it is my mama was a hell of a mama.
Yeah, salute to all the women that out there doing their shit. Salute to all the women out there doing their shit.
It's all about, and then sometimes it's not how you raise. Some people, they see the wrong when they get old enough. They see the wrongs in their parents, and they become polar opposite because of that.
Yeah.
So I can't always say that.
I can believe that.
But 9 times out of 10, if your mama was outside all day, all
You
night,
probably gonna be outside all day and all night.
that's what you seen.
Mhm.
I've seen it.
You feel
That's
like
what
the
your mama
lifestyle. That's the
did.
lifestyle for
Regardless
you.
how you felt, you
Yeah.
about to be the same.
That makes sense.
And it ain't really. You're not gonna see no wrong in it because again,
That's what you
we
seen
was
all day
raised
and all
differently.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. This is what I seen. I seen my daddy going to work.
So you
I
as
go
a
to
man,
work.
you can be like, I'm gonna go to work.
I'm gonna take care of business.
And
I
rather
seen
than not
my
I go to
pops
work,
take care
I'm gonna
of the
still get
household.
something done.
I'm gonna take care of the household.
Mhm.
He was a provider. I'm a provider.
Yeah.
Now the shit. See, the one thing I respect about my pops is the shit that he did wrong. He never told me until I was old enough. And I'm just like, damn, man, I thought you was damn near square. Like, you had all this shit going on. But I really do feel like having kids myself, it all comes down to how you raise. and you ain't go. Everybody rights and wrongs is a little different.
Yeah.
That's why common sense ain't so common. Is the motherfucking truth. Like it really is like that. And it's not so much so of common sense not being so common. It's just everybody different. Everybody was raised different. We all know the truth,
Yeah.
but it's up to you to. I mean,
I say this all, and I say it all the
you
time.
gotta
Right? Just
educate
'cause-
yourself.
and even when everybody try to go through and try to process other people's lifestyles, but you can never understand nobody else's lifestyle. Because even when the example I give a lot of times is me and my brother, raised in the same house. Me and him, polar opposites. It's like we sun and moon, yin and yang.
Yeah.
My mama would say it, my dad would say it. Like, it's like my brother would be doing this, that, and the third, and they're like, okay, cool, that's all good in the third, and then here comes me. Fucking up, right?
Yeah.
Here come the fuck up. Not necessarily that they see me as a fuck up, but, you know, but...
You're not doing what your brother.
Right, you feel me? So, but in relative perspective, it's, nah, I'm kind of the fuck up, but it's not necessarily I'm a fuck up. But it's like, so you can be raised in the same household, but if you're raised during two different terms, so, and I'm the younger brother, for one. So it's my brother, then it's me. Right? So they kind of have a lot of, it's not to say nothing bad about my brother, because my brother's a solid dude. Stand up, you feel me, everything. That's not even like the trying to sound politically correct or nothing. My brother's a solid dude, stand up guy. But we were raised different, and the way I took the things were way different the way he took the things. Like, when my dad left our house, I was the man of the house, even though I had an older brother.
Right.
I was the man of the house. So, you can be raised in, so like you said, you can be raised in different communities, or you can be brought up different and see a different aspect on life. Right. And so, I say that because instead of just us saying how we have a different aspect from women, this is a different aspect I have from another man. Mm-hmm. So, where do we go from there?
So, okay. So we're talking about mental health, and we're not gonna say only males, but just in general. I feel like the main problem, especially with our generation, because we grew up in a growth of social media, that's what's causing a lot of mental health issues, a lot of depression.
So everybody in competition
because everybody is running a race instead of just realizing this shit really a marathon. We all, and sometimes I can be guilty of it, but I kind of do stuff in a more positive way. like the things that I do. I look at the other people that's in the same professions, or not even professions, but doing the same thing that I do, and I kind of learn from the growth from when they came from where I'm at to how they above where I want to be, and just learning how they got to that level instead of taking it like, oh man, I'm failing. I'm trying to do this. They run because it ain't about that. Like.
So instead of trying to jump in their lane, you understanding that
because like
you got to run your own pace
it's
instead
really
of trying to jump in their lane.
It's really a marathon, because if it was a race, as many people die, the race over. You got to start that shit over. Yeah. But it ends.
Yeah, so that's why races aren't that far. You can run. So like when they do track, you have like a 2 meter. You feel me? Like you run literally around one spot and then hit a line and then you done. Meters. You feel me? So like you done.
Yeah. No, really though. It's really a marathon, man. Because it's about your pace. It's not about speed. And that was another thing. We talk mental health, and we just talk even just being in the city like we in. The expectations, what you feel you supposed to live up to be in a lot of situations, or just living here, not scratch. I just said living here and seeing what you see, what you grew up with. Like who got the most money, or who always gonna have the most money when you grow up. Who you gonna see, doing the fly shit like. Like all that is
almost
a
like
thing.
Those scammers, robbers,
exactly.
Everything.
And it's just like it's really the environment, man. People got to be more strong-minded when it comes to just stuff like social media and things like that. And when it comes to men, in particular, to to kind of jump back on what you said earlier, because I was trying to think. I feel like when we realize we're going through certain things, or I feel like just the expectations of a man always put our mental health kind of down until you find a way to control it. Because all men not depressed. Trust me, that's not in mental health. Not even necessarily saying you're depressed. Just how
you're just trying to figure out how you
handle things.
How you gonna move your next foot forward.
Yeah, exactly. So in a lot of situations, I feel like we already kind of told you can't really show expression. You know, expression of emotion. You got to be tough. Don't, can't cry. And I'm not saying just be out here crying and shit, please.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you're a human being. That's what I've been preaching. At the end of the day, you're a human being.
So treat me as such instead of just being a
just
man in society.
We all equally yoked as human beings, except the biggest difference in the man and female body parts. The biggest difference. I mean, there's other difference if you want to break it all the way down.
Yeah,
we talk about the biggest difference when we talk about emotions, because shit is all the same.
A lot of that moves to expectations of what we expect of a woman, what women expect of us. But I said,
for sure,
I was like, if you go off a list of just what our natural expectations, whether we have a woman or not,
okay,
right?
So
our natural expectations, we have to get money.
Right.
Then after we get the money, we also have to have enough money to provide.
Definitely.
Then after you get enough money to provide, now you gotta have nice shit. Or at least in our culture, for black culture. In our culture, because from a lot of cultures, they be like, shit, you could walk around bummy as fuck. Right?
You know,
and they're not gonna say shit. But for us, no, I need to see you with a chain, I need to see you with a watch, I need to see you with, you feel me? All that. So, we gotta do, so now that moves over to societal and peer pressure of cultures and societal peer pressure. Cool. Now we move over to also family aspect. In my family, I'm one of the ones that everybody calls when shit goes left. So now I got to deal with my family as well. And then now let's say I pick up a girlfriend, whatever. Now I got to do relationship requirements.
Right.
And then let's say let's say I fuck around and get the girl pregnant, right? Now I have family. Now I have a family requirement because I have to take care of you and the child now, while still balancing everything else. So
yeah, automatically, okay. So traditionally, women, like I said earlier, are supposed to traditionally cook, 3 meals a day. Expected to wash the clothes, clean the house, spick and span, take care of the kids.
But at the same time, who are they cooking the 3 meals for? Because if you're gone most of the day, you're not going to eat 3 meals a day, right?
That's very true.
So we're living in now a new modern world. Not saying that they should not be cooking and cleaning. I'm not going to say that they shouldn't be cooking and cleaning. If you're at the house majority of the time more than I am, then yes, something should be done at the house. And then especially when I come home, I need to eat.
But see,
but
I'm gonna say this. Okay,
but modernly, I feel like they shouldn't be cooking 3 meals a day because you're not going to eat 3 meals a day. I understand what you're saying. But
like by the book,
yeah.
Like this is what's written down. You're supposed to eat 3 times a day. So practically, they expect your woman to feed you 3 times a day. Of course, if you're a man or a job or just to hustle,
whatever you do,
you're not gonna be in the house to eat 3 meals a day. You're gonna eat one of those meals on the go, if not 2. Shit, if not all 3. If you eat 3 times a day. But the whole point is, that's what you do traditionally. In my eyes, and how I see life, we all individuals form. We all human beings. It's no really who does what in the crib. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. To me, that's just how I feel. I don't think that way. However, I am gonna pay all the bills because
that's another thing.
That's just who I am.
Have a lot of problem with.
Okay, so here's how I think about it. You pay all the bills. You're a provider. Okay, cool. But, and I got so much to say about just the reality of situations. And we're gonna start right here. So you're a provider. You pay all the bills. That's what they. Man, it's supposed to
But
be
just
all
because you pay the bills, I mean you
and
provide.
this and this and that. But that's what they call it.
Yeah, I understand that
Well,
in
okay,
modern day
yeah,
time, that's what
yeah,
they want.
yeah,
But
yeah.
just because you pay bills, I mean you
So
provide.
you pay all the bills.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the difference. I live there. Of course. How else am I gonna fucking live there? You don't
Fuck
live-
else I'm gonna go.
Life is not
What are
free
you talking
anymore.
about?
You're
Where
not
else
a
I'm gonna
kid.
go?
Unless you're gonna be at home, you're gonna pay the bills.
No fact.
Period.
No
It's
fact.
just that. It ain't no. Oh shit! I just don't. I live for free. You stop living for free when you moved out the crib.
No faking.
That's just that. If you ever live for free from then, you're very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And you on the
If you
whole
live
other
for free, you're
percentage.
more likely to live in a shelter.
Damn near. If you
Pretty
just
much.
maybe just got good people in your family, or
Maybe
good friends, or
you might
you
might
know.
everybody in your family might just be a dope dealer or a doctor.
However,
Whatever the fuck.
I don't
Everybody's a
mind
dope
paying
dealer
all
or
the
a doctor.
bills, and I don't mind if my lady want to pay some bills.
Mm-hmm.
Some women have a sense of responsibility and they want to pay bills.
Yeah.
Some